What's up, Variant Nation? Oh, right. Shazam!
Okay, that's better. Now, let's talk about it. I haven't been here the last 2 episodes. I just needed some time to work on me, you know? I may have also caught a virus again and was in the process of burning down my entire house so no amoeba survived. I'm freaking sick of getting sick. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, it's good to be back and talking comics with your lovely faces. And today, we're continuing our Shazam coverage with the comic book history of the movie's villain, Dr. Sivana. We actually saw Shazam this past weekend and will be posting my review next week around the movie's release. But now, let's talk some evil scientists. Dr. Sivana was created by Bill Parker and C.C. Peck, and first appeared in Wiz Comics issue 2 in December of 1939. Sivana was Shazam's most reoccurring villain during the Golden Age of comics. During this time, he was depicted as an evil scientist who used his genius to conjure up evil schemes and inventions to defeat Shazam and the Marvel family. Unfortunately, by the time 1953 rolled around, Dr. Sivana would be shelved and entered what's called publishing limbo. This was due to the National Comics publication, who would later become DC Comics vs. Fawcett Publications court case, which found Shazam/Captain Marvel was a copyright infringement of Superman. Ultimately, DC Comics would acquire Captain Marvel and all the characters in his universe and relaunch them in a new title called Shazam in February of 1972. How did DC explain the character's 20-year absence from comics? Well, it's funny you should ask. It was explained as a result of Dr. Sivana and the Sivana family. Yes, that's a thing, because if you have a Marvel family, of course you have to have a Sivana family. Anyway, said family trapped the Marvels, their friends, and themselves by accident in a sphere called Suspendium. This happened because Sivana Jr. is a moron and distracted Dr. Sivana by slapping him on the back in an attempt to say congratulations for capturing the Marvel family. But instead, it made him crash their spaceship into the Suspendium sphere, which is obviously a compound that kept them in suspended animation from 1953 until 1973, aka a plot device for writers to explain to readers why the characters went missing for 20 years, during all the real-world legal issues. But now that you have all that knowledge in your brain, let's talk about Sivana's comic book origin. In Dr. Sivana's original take during the Golden Age, Sivana started off as a good man and scientist that just wanted to help humanity. But big corporations called him mad and expressed concerns for his methods. This caused him to become bitter against all of humanity, so he moved to Venus, which only seems appropriate. While there, he would use his intellect to become one of the most respected beings on Venus. Eventually, he would return to Earth and become a supervillain who would fight against Captain Marvel, after he figured out that Captain Marvel was in fact just a boy named Billy Batson. He goes on to fight Captain Marvel for over half of his stories during the Golden Age of comics. And being a brilliant evil scientist, Sivana combated Captain Marvel and the Marvel family with all sorts of inventions and evil schemes. This would last until 1953 when, as I said earlier, Captain Marvel and all associated characters were shelved due to legal issues with National Comics. Now remember how I said earlier that Dr. Sivana trapped his family and the Marvel family inside the Suspendium sphere? Well, they all would eventually be released when the sphere got too close to the sun, which melted it enough for Captain Marvel and the Marvel family to break their way out and head back to Earth. Soon after, the Sivana family were also able to escape, and wouldn't you know it, they tried to take over the world once again, but were stopped by Captain Marvel. Throughout the Shazam series, Sivana would continue to threaten and destroy cities and try to take over the world as he thought he was the rightful ruler of the universe. By issue 28 of the series, he was responsible for bringing Black Adam back, using his reincarnation machine. So maybe, just maybe, that's how Black Adam will be introduced in future Shazam films. But now let's take a brief look at his modern New 52 origin, which is what the movie heavily pulled its inspiration from for the character. In this new continuity, Dr. Sivana is a respected scientist, first appearing in Justice League issue 7. We learn that he's desperate to find a way to save his family from an unknown danger, because science hasn't been able to help, so he looks towards magic to do what science cannot. Specifically, he turns to the legend of Black Adam, an ancient Middle Eastern slave who was given incredible power by the Council of Eternity. But as legend had it, after saving his country Kahndaq from the 7 sins, he disappeared. In search of this magical power, Dr. Sivana gathers a team to explore and search for what he believes is the tomb of Black Adam. They eventually find it, and when Sivana tries to open it, he's blasted by magical lightning in the face, which half blinds him, but also has the side effect of allowing his right eye to see magic. Now, being able to see magic, his eye allows him to see where Black Adam has really been trapped all these years. He goes there and says the magic word Shazam, which frees Black Adam. Black Adam starts yelling, "Where is the wizard?" and kills one of Sivana's men. And when Black Adam asks who Sivana is, he replies, "I am the one who will help you find the wizard." After Sivana helps him find the wizard and his new champion, he goes back to the Rock of Eternity, where he pleads for the magical forces to let him in and says magic can save his family. And from inside, he hears a voice say, "Yes, that's quite possible, Dr. Sivana. I've been watching you and watching the magic that infects you. It has eaten away at your body, but not your mind. Now let us converse quickly. We have but a brief moment alone." Sivana finally asks, "Who are you?" The voice replies, They call me Mr. Mind, and you and I shall be best friends. And with that, the issue ends, and they totally left us on a cliffhanger introducing the old school Shazam villain, Mr. Mind. And now, you can feel my pain. Regardless, that wraps up his origins, but before we dive into Dr. Sivana's story arcs, today's episode is sponsored by Skillshare. Knowledge is power, my friends, and with more than 25,000 classes in business, the arts, technology, and more, Skillshare is an incredible online community for every kind of creator. For us as comic fans and creators who are always looking to tell good stories, we found that the writing classes and wide range of drawing, animation, and film production classes are particularly helpful. So whether you're wanting to fuel your creativity, boost skills involving your career, or just pick up a hobby, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and growing, and their premium membership gives you unlimited access, so you can join whichever class fits your goals. Join the 7 million creators already learning on Skillshare by using the link in the description, and they'll hook up the first 500 people with a free 2-month unlimited access trial. And after that, it's only around $10 a month. Don't wait, click the link in the description and start filling your brain box. After everything I mentioned in Origins, Sivana would continue to appear in Shazam comics and stories all the way through the Crisis on Infinite Earths limited series from 1985. After this, he wouldn't appear again until 1987 when DC decided to revamp the character much like they did with Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. He was reintroduced by Roy Thomas and Tom Mandrake in the 4-issue miniseries Shazam New Beginnings. In Thomas and Mandrake's take, Dr. Sivana was still an evil mad scientist like in the past. What changed is that he only had 2 children now, Magnificus and Beautia, as in previous continuity, his family consisted of Beautia, Georgia, Magnificus, and Sivana Jr. Another major change they made was making Sivana the step-uncle of Billy Batson. But by the time 1994 came around, the Dr. Sivana and Shazam's origins were once again revised. And if that seems like a lot of times to keep revising a character's mythos, all I have to say is, welcome to the worlds of comics, ladies and gentlemen. But God, I love them. Anyway, as I just said, in '94, Sivana was revised in the 96-page graphic novel titled The Power of Shazam by Jerry Ordway. The novel was received well enough that it sparked a new ongoing series also titled The Power of Shazam. The series lasted from 1995 to 1999 and ran for 47 issues. In the Power of Shazam graphic novel, Dr. Sivana was still a mad scientist. But in addition to that, they took a page out of Lex Luthor's book by also making Sivana a very powerful and influential business mogul. Sivana, once the CEO of Sivana Industries, was left with nothing as the battle between Black Adam and Shazam destroyed all of Sivana's properties, causing him to lose all of his money and possessions. Because of this, he swears revenge on the Big Red Cheese. Once the Power of Shazam series came to an end in '99, Sivana would pop up in the Outsiders title where he was seen in issues 13 through 15 gathering supervillains to reform the group known as the Fearsome Five. Sivana would continue to pop in and out of the Outsiders series throughout the comic's run. Then in the 2005 Superman Shazam First Thunder limited series, Sivana also popped up, although the main focus of this series is to show the first time Superman and Shazam met, which is pretty freaking awesome. Then in the 52 limited series, we find out that Dr. Sivana was indirectly responsible for the main conflict of the series, which caused disruptions in the time stream because of the mutated Mr. Mind, who is a mind-controlling alien worm that is also a classic Captain Marvel villain. You see, what had happened was, Sivana did a bunch of mad scientist-like treatments to Mr. Mind that consisted of his suspendium time travel compound. But this caused him to mutate into a hyperfly, or a planet-sized moth that has the ability to time travel across realities. Needless to say, this is a massive threat to the multiverse. But eventually he would be stopped when he was thrown back in time to when Sivana found him. Then in 2008, Sivana teamed up with Lex to betray Libra during Final Crisis. And that brings us to the New 52, which I already told you all about in Origins. More recently, however, in DC Rebirth, he's seen in Shazam issue 2. Sivana appears at a doctor's office and we see that Mr. Mind has entered his ear canal and is controlling Sivana, telling him they need the tongue of the medicine man for a spell. But it ends there, and that brings us to powers and abilities. Dr. Sivana has no superpowers, but he has a genius-level intellect which does give him a technological advantage in battle because he can create a bunch of gadgets and weapons. He's so smart, in fact, that he discovered a mathematical formula that gave him the abilities to walk through solid objects. Besides his incredible intellect, which is his main ability, he has a magic right eye, which allows him to see magic. But besides that, there's really not much more to say. Because of this, in the Shazam movie, they gave him actual superpowers so he could have some cool action scenes between the two. But now it's time for some reading recommendations. Check out Shazam Volume 1, Shazam New Beginnings, The Power of Shazam, Superman Shazam First Thunder, and Shazam: A Celebration of 75 Years. First up for Wednesday, March 27th, we have Superior Spider-Man issue 4. With San Francisco and Otto in ruins after Terrax's attack, rebuilding is required. But will a weak and superior Spider-Man be chumming the water to villains? Here we have Heroes in Crisis issue 7. The Trinity may have uncovered the true killer responsible for the deaths at Sanctuary, but the artificial intelligence that ran the institution is the one thing standing between them and the culprit. Next we have Hulk Marines issue 2. The Hulk is already on Weapon H's tail, but now Wolverine is involved, and he's got an adamantium lace bone to pick with Weapon H. Now we have Shazam issue 4. Shazam in the Seven Magic Lands continues as Billy Batson and the other foster kids are lost in the dangerous wildlands. And finally we have Detective Comics issue 1000. After 80 years, this milestone issue is finally here for the title that literally defines DC. Don't miss the historic 96-page issue that includes an epilogue that introduces the Arkham Knight to the DC Comics universe. And that's gonna bring another episode of Variant to a close, but if you want to get some knowledge in your brain, be sure to check out Skillshare. Link for that is in the description below. And remember, if you're one of the first 500 people, you'll get a free 2-month trial. Other than that, that's going to bring today's episode to a close. Remember to follow us on social media, like our Twitter, our Facebook, and Instagram. Links for that is in the description as always. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.